What's up guys, my name is Ace and welcome to today's episode of Call of Duty Ghosts Maps Exposed. In this episode we're going to be covering the map Warhawk. Let's get into it. Okay, so normally I'd be starting off with the domination capture spots, but to be honest with this map there is nothing too special as far as capture spots go, so I am going to completely skip that over and instead I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a teaser for the end of the video. So many of you guys may know that you can get up to this window by jumping on the tank, and then onto this green awning, and then across to the sign, and then across to the window. I have a much better and faster way to do this that's actually really easy to do, because this jump is actually somewhat difficult to do consistently. So the jump that I have, I can hit every single time. But I'll get into that at the end of the video. Okay, so starting it off by the C flag, some of you guys may not know that you can actually jump inside this dumpster here, and it might be a good spot for infected or something like that, but most people know about it by now, so they'll just find you and take you out. So it's nice to know that it's there, but I don't think I'd ever really use this spot. Getting over towards this side of the map, if you're coming from this direction and you expect your enemies to be coming from over by the C flag, if you jump up here and then jump on top of the sandbags, you can actually use this door of the trailer for cover. And look at that, it gives you great cover over top. You can just crouch and you're completely behind cover, and the enemies are going to have a really hard time taking you out of that spot. Getting towards the middle of the map, this is the first dynamic element. You can actually shoot or knife this gate to open it, and most people know about it already, but I just thought I'd point it out. Next, if you're in this garage area and you want to get a line of sight into the bar and maybe a little bit onto the street, if you come right over here and sort of jump on the edge of this barrel, you can see a little bit into the bar there. A lot of people like to camp there, so it could be a good spot to get a line of sight on them. And then if you edge your way up and hop onto this rail right here, you can see a little bit of the street as well, so it's a great way to take people by surprise. Alright, now for one of my favorite lines of sight on this map. Right here is a really popular place for people to sit, and sometimes they'll just camp here for an entire search and destroy round or an entire game, and it can be kind of hard to take them out of that position because they have such great cover. So I have a really nice line of sight here for a sniper rifle. All you have to do is come up on top of this car, and then crouch on top of this pallet right here. And there you go, you get a little bit of a line of sight through that crack there, and while you can't see the crate right now, you'll actually be able to see the tip of a person's head if they're standing behind that crate. So you'll be able to take them out through there. Or an alternative that gives you a little bit more of a line of sight on them is if you jump on the fence and edge your way over, you'll be able to see their head right through that little crack right there. And you can jump up if you want to see them a little bit better. Now, similar to that last spot, if you want to challenge guys that are in that doorway right there, which is actually a really popular clash point for search and destroy and search and rescue, once again, you just come up on top of this car here, and there you go. You get a line of sight over the pallet, and if you want a little bit better of a line of sight, you can jump up onto the fence. This will also give you a line of sight over top of this fence to that head glitch by the tree there, where a lot of people like to go, especially in search and destroy or blitz or something like that. They'll camp right behind that concrete by the tree. Right next to that last spot, if you guys want to get up the stairs without actually having to take the stairs, you can jump on this barrel and then jump up and you're in. Alternatively, if you guys want to get up to that second story building in the middle there, you can jump up onto the cab of the truck, jump across to the top of this sign, and there you go. You're in this way and you can take people by surprise through there. Now over in this area right here, I often find myself in a situation where I know there's an enemy up in the window there, but I also know there's enemies in the mid-street area that can easily pick me off if I'm trying to challenge the guys in the window. So if you back off to the right point right here, there you go. You get a really nice line of sight into that window and you don't have to worry about being seen by the guys on the street. Now if you're back in this direction and you expect enemies to be coming through this little choke point right here, instead of using this hole in the fence to challenge them, I like to come to this windowsill, jump on top, and there you go. You get a nice line of sight over top and they're going to have a really hard time seeing you there. So now it's time for the second dynamic element on this map, and that is in the hardware and plumbing store. So as you can see there's a breach point, and then there's another breach point outside. All you have to do is breach either one of these doors and it'll blow up both of the doors and it'll completely open up this passageway into the hardware and plumbing store, which is actually a really good spot to be if you expect enemies to be spawning near the ADOM area. Once you're inside that hardware and plumbing store, if you jump up on top of the counter and then crouch with a sniper rifle, you actually get a little bit of a line of sight over towards the bar area, and a lot of people like to funnel through there. So if you're really fast and good with your shot, you can often pick off a headshot through there. Now even though I don't need this green awning to jump to the sign because I have a much better spot that I'm going to be showing you guys, it does have its uses. You can jump up here, you get a nice line of sight over towards people right there, or right here, which is even more important because oftentimes people will try and camp in there. Getting over to the bar by the A flag, instead of challenging people in this window that are coming through that area right there, you're kind of exposing yourself a little bit. So I like to jump on top of this windowsill and edge myself to the right side and then lean, and you get a really nice line of sight over top of there, and they're going to have a much more difficult time taking you out. Sometimes while I'm playing this map and I hold the A flag, there'll be an enemy sitting right at that barrel there, and he's kind of hard to take out because he has so much freedom to move around back there. So if you want to get a head glitch onto that barrel, all you have to do is come right back here, jump on top of this pallet, and right there you'll see that you get a really nice line of sight right through there, and he's going to have a super hard time seeing you there. So that's one way to do it, but I also have an alternative. All you have to do is jump up on this truck, and then you kind of edge your way towards this back corner of the truck. You want to fall off of the pallets. And there you go. If you're crouched, you're completely hidden from him. And then if you stand up, you get a really nice line of sight on him, and he's not going to be able to see you there. Now looking towards the other direction, if you have enemies coming from this way and maybe you're defending a flag or a blitz portal, you can't quite jump on these barrels from the ground. But if you jump up on here and then jump across, there you go. You get a pretty good head glitch over top here. Be aware of people that will be camping up here if you're on the attack, and just know that people can do that. And you can actually do this from the other side as well. It's not quite as practical because you don't typically get people running through from this direction, but it is always good to know that these spots are here. Getting back into this area of the bar here, a lot of the times I'll find people that are camping up on the top of the stairs. So instead of challenging them from here, which is actually a pretty good spot, I like to come over and then jump onto this windowsill right here, and then just kind of head glitch over top of this piece of sheet metal. It's only visual cover, so he can shoot through it really easily, but he's going to have a super hard time seeing your head over that. Right over here, if you have an enemy up in the antique shop window right there, a lot of people will try and challenge him from this truck here, and that's not a terrible spot to challenge him from because you have quite a bit of cover, but I prefer to use this spot back here. You can shoot through this glass, just break it, and there you go. He's going to have a really hard time seeing you over that, and you can always just crouch to get out of the way. Now, kind of a reverse to that, if you want to kill people that are inside of that bakery right there, all you have to do is jump up on top of this tank, and then there you go. You get a nice line of sight over top, you can break all this glass and just shoot them there, and they usually aren't looking towards your direction. Okay, one last spot before we get into the final spot that you guys have been waiting for. Instead of camping up here to watch that door, if you expect people to be coming through there and maybe you're playing infected or something, you can stand right on top of this drywall, and there you go. You get a nice line of sight over top of the drywall to the people in the door. Alright, here's the jump you guys have been waiting for. And just look how simple it is. You jump straight from the tank onto here. Now it does take a little bit of practice, and you have to aim for that corner right there, so it looks a little bit awkward as you're jumping, but you'll hit that every single time if you take a couple minutes to practice this in a private match. This is a much easier and better way to get up here rather than the awning, because with the awning you have to jump twice, and you're just spending more time exposing yourself way out in the open. As you can see, I can hit this jump every time. Alright, so that's going to wrap it up for today's episode of Call of Duty Ghosts Maps Exposed. If you enjoyed the video, I always appreciate a like rating, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.